Now, let's talk about, now you mentioned the dire straits we are in because of the Albanese, Chris Bowen green agenda. There's a $500 billion, that's $500 billion, a green hole, they're calling it. A bombshell report says that, basically they've been telling porkies, the Labor Party, about the cost of all this stuff. James?
Yeah, so look, this is all stuff that's come out in the last 48, 72 hours. On Friday, I saw Shadow Energy Minister Ted O'Brien deliver a speech at the Daily Telegraph's Bradfield oration where he dropped this news that modeling by Frontier Economics has found that basically Labor has cooked the books.
Oh, what a surprise.
The whole cost of going to this full, net zero is going to be for the whole grid, for supplying it, for getting it to your house, for building basically the entire second power system that you need to build to back up the first one that's intermittent and doesn't work, is going to be $500 billion with a B dollars. That is $500 billion. This speech, I think, and this news here. And this
$1 trillion more, James.
Yeah,
It's
more.
going to be $642 billion.
Mark my words, this is going to be where Peter Dutton stakes the claim. This is where, the election is going to go, because this $500 billion.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, well,
there's also the nullable green hydrogen controversy that's ongoing at the moment where, what a great plan. Let's take the nullable plane and stick windmills and green hydrogen and this all over it. I mean, these people are lunatics. They seriously are. 3,000 wind turbines, 60 million solar panels across 2.29 million hectares of crown land and pastoral leases. Honestly, let's just go back to our coal-fired power plants so we can all have cheap, abundant energy like we used to without all this garbage that these clowns in the Labor Party are foisting on us, James.
Can I make a point here, too? There's such a lesson here for the Labor Party, right? If they paid any attention to what happened a couple of weeks ago at the election of the United States, they would see that this strategy of pitting the cities against the regions does not work. No. They are going to lose all of Australia except for the most inner city seats, and that's no way to win government.
There is a qualifier to that. That's when you've got two sides who give you two clearly defined options.
Yes.
And I'll be talking about that in the next segment in my
let's
editorial,
pick up on that.
Because when it comes to state level, you show me the difference between the Liberals and Labor in New South Wales and Victoria when it comes to energy policy, because a lot of this is state-based as well. It's not all the federal government. And even when we go to Peter Dutton and the nuclear plan, that's sound. But Coalition isn't abandoning net zero. They're still on this net zero bandwagon. They just want to get there via nuclear as opposed to completely destroying our economy. But they're also not embracing the fact that we've got hundreds, perhaps thousands of years of gas reserves under us, coal, uranium. Obviously, we need uranium for nuclear. So we don't have that clear choice that the American public
That's true.
had.
And you raise a very good point, Rita, which is that Donald Trump will pull out of the Paris Agreement. Therefore, the Paris Agreement is utterly meaningless. Only fools and frauds are engaged in the Paris Agreement. Without the states, basically China, India, Russia, all do whatever they want on the energy front and merrily go their way. We are fools if we stay signed up to Paris, and Peter Dutton should make it an absolute priority going into the election that he will also pull out of the Paris Agreement. That should be a priority. I sometimes wonder, do the Libs really want to win the next election? Because if they did, that would be at the top of the ticket. But what the dead giveaway, James, was when at APAC, the Chinese delegation praised Anthony Albanese this is the type of leader the West should have. That's the giveaway. That's the tell. Now you know you've got to punt the Albanese government, get them as far away from the seat of power as you possibly can. If the Chinese are saying that's who we need in power, you can bet your bottom dollar that's the last person we need in power.
So handsome boy is winning the praises of Beijing. That's that is a worry.
And this is also, I think China knows exactly what they're doing here because they have rolled a grenade right into the electoral politics of the next election because, of course, there's a lot of 2020 hindsight on the 2022 election about Scott Morrison's fierce rhetoric about China. costing him some seats. So this is a very cynical ploy. Peter Dutton has to be very careful about how he handles this one as well.
What cost Scott Morrison the last election was signing up to net zero. That's what cost him the election. And that's why Peter Dutton should be abandoning pulling out of Paris.